We're back after a week off, running a camp for Fortune Innovators that went really well. And I thought to come back and welcome you guys, let's do a retro breakdown. 1998, Game 6, Bulls versus Jazz NBA Finals. I'm sure we all remember how it ended, but you probably forgot a lot of the little details that happened during that game that ultimately decided who won the championship. Let's not forget what we had here. It was a matchup issue where John Stockton had to guard Ron Harper, who was much bigger, and they would post him. As a result, John Stockton played a lot less per game in that series. And also, you had Hornacek trying to guard Scottie Pippen. And until Pippen hurt his back and became severely limited with his mobility, it was a matchup in the Bulls' favor. Now, let's also not forget the debacle of Game 3, where the Bulls annihilated the Jazz, and it was a back-and-forth seesaw affair. And I gotta tell you, watching this, being a Bulls fan then, I felt horrible about it, thinking that we weren't gonna win Game 6 when Scottie Pippen first went down with his bad back and could barely move. Well, let's get to it. Let me show you what I saw in Game 6 of the NBA Finals from 1998. The Bulls started out going after Hornacek with Pippen in the post, and they run him off a little screen in the weak side, get the ball down there. They double team him, but Harper can throw the ball back over a smaller Stockton, and they get a dunk. Remember, the Bulls wanted more offense, so they put Rodman on the bench to start, which meant Luke Longley had to guard Karl Malone in the post. Wasn't a great matchup for the Bulls. Utah's offense was very rote, but effective. Here you'll see Hornacek do a simple UCLA cut with a back screen and get wide open for a layup underneath. Here's the same play with Hornacek making that same cut. This time Michael Jordan plays better defense, so they get the ball to Malone on the high post, and he simply isos, goes to the basket against Bill Wennington, and gets the and one. Here the Jazz flip it and have Hornacek set a screen for Malone going that way for a UCLA cut. Everyone's watching that though, and that opens up the whole side for Stockton to blow by Harper and get a layup. The Jazz had a variety of ways of feeding the post to Malone. Here they'll do a corner entry when Brian Russell goes to the corner, does a left foot turn, and then feeds the post and cuts off of him. That allows Karl Malone to go to work down low, where he finally gets the putback off the glass. Jerry Sloan loved to send Stockton across the lane and set a screen for Malone. Really tough screens to have to set for a little guard, and they almost always got a really good shot. If it missed, at least it was a good shot. And here is classic UCLA high post offense out of Wooden's book. You'll see Hornacek do a UCLA cut with a screen, get a double screen on the weak side, come around, and they end up hitting a flare pass to Brian Russell. There's enough movement and balance that he can face up on Kukoc and hit an easy shot. Again, they set a back screen on a UCLA cut for Stockton. When they don't get it, Stockton comes back and sets the same screen for Malone. Stockton can now feed the post because Malone has great post position on that screen. Virtually the same play with different personnel. They screen for Malone, and they're going to feed the post from the wing. Watch Stockton now set a screen for the guard on top, who comes around and nails a jumper. To show you how similar the triangle offense is to UCLA high post, watch Steve Kerr do the same screen on a low post feed, and Michael Jordan hits the jumper. And watch how clever the Jazz can be with this. Stockton will set a screen and slip it to the basket and get a wide open layup. Beautiful. The triangle offense allowed the Bulls to take advantage of matchups. Here, Pippen is being guarded by Keefe, and when they get it to him in the post, he can turn even with a bad back and get a shot that he can hit. Because the Bulls were flexible on defense, you could have Tony Kukoc guarding Brian Russell and Michael Jordan guarding Stockton. In transition, it posed a big problem for the Jazz because Russell wasn't in position to get back. He had Stockton guarding Michael. No way he could stop him. Michael Jordan, at this point in his career, got very good at running a team offense, and they go away from him before they come back and do a two-man game with Kukoc. Utah does not double Michael here and try and help out, and in a precursor to the fourth quarter, he hits a pull-up jump shot on Brian Russell. The Jazz weren't the only ones who were clever on offense. In this pinch post, normally Steve Kerr will screen down and Tony Kukoc will come out on top. Well, the Jazz are expecting this, and Kukoc slips backdoor, gets a beautiful pass from Rodman, and a layup. And watch how smart Rodman is. On this pick and roll with Kukoc, Rodman will back screen Michael Jordan's man, freeing him up to hit a wide open three. The Bulls did a great job doubling down low on Carr and Malone, and here the pass gets away. Isley is able to hit a three right before the shot clock expires. Dick Bavetta goes to the table wanting to call a 24-second violation, and they wave it off, even though when you look at the replay, the ball is out of his hands and there's still a 1 on that clock. Bad call. Let's talk about the greatness of Michael Jordan. But first, does anyone remember who this guy is sitting next to him on the bench? Let's look at the Bulls' offense and how it really works to Michael Jordan's advantage. He curls around, gets the ball in the low post, the double team comes and he quickly gets rid of it. They set up a triangle on the left side, come back for pinch post, and gets a beautiful lob from Kukoc. Next, you're going to see what Michael Jordan added to his repertoire when he came back after his retirement. A beautiful, unstoppable fadeaway out on the baseline. And here, watch this move, kids, because this is as perfect of an up and under as you're ever going to see with footwork and moves and quickness and finish. Watch it again. Watch how he plants the right foot, fakes the fadeaway, and then steps right back through for a right-hand layup. In a game this close, any bucket is important, and I'm sure Utah fans won't forget Dennis Rodman hitting a 20-footer. I think he was as mystified as everybody else for making that. And Kukoc comes down and ties the game in the fourth quarter with a low post entry, and Kerr will screen form across like we saw earlier and hits a crucial 3 to tie the game in the fourth. The Bulls were able to confuse Malone in the post by doubling him from different spots on the floor. Here, Pippen comes down from the high side and gets a steal when he tries to kick it out. And even with a bad back, Pippen can still use his length and size advantage against Hornacek to get a turnaround jumper in the fourth. At this point, both teams were absolutely exhausted. The defense was extremely tough, and you can see how hardly anybody wants to even try and cut through the lane. Ultimately, they take so long they can't get a good shot as the clock winds down, and Ron Harper is left to run off of 1 foot and toss up a desperation shot that goes in. But wait a minute, in a cruel twist of fate, they count this basket even though he releases it after the shot clock went off. So the 3-pointer the Jazz didn't get and the Bulls 2-pointer they get here, 5-point difference. But the Jazz would not give up, and they took a 4-point lead when they do a screen and roll with Scottie guarding Malone. Scottie simply cannot move and get back to put a hand up on that open jumper. In crunch time, they go back to Malone on the left low block. They double him with Scottie, but this time Scottie comes from the low right block, and the Bulls give up the exact shot they want to give up. Stockton 3 with a hand in his face. He happens to hit it though, big shot. The only way the Jazz lose is if the Bulls get an easy 2-pointer quickly. They don't double Michael Jordan and he gets a layup. So the Jazz go to their bread and butter, Karl Malone in the low post off a cross screen. The Bulls are going to double with Michael Jordan from the baseline side now. He was not ready for it. Easy steal from Michael, crucial play. They come down with no timeout, easy isolation. Now, the Jazz do not come over and help, do not try and double. We all know Michael Jordan's going to shoot it, and yet they don't move over to help. He pulls up and hits the game-winning shot. The final sideline out of bounds play was not designed to get a shot. It was going to be a pick and roll after it comes in. There was not enough time to run a play like this, and they ultimately lose. So there you have it, sports fans. A great ending to an incredible run by the Chicago Bulls, where they won 6 championships in 8 years, and only because Michael Jordan retired to try and play baseball, or retired because, well, we're not even sure why. Very strange circumstances. Maybe one day we'll find out the exact truth. Don't forget, on Wednesday, I'm going to release a worldwide premiere of my interview with Nick Young and Paul George, talking about how they work out, what their inspiration was, and their trainer is going to give us some insight as well as to how NBA players train. So don't miss it. 6 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesday, and it'll only be at bballbreakdown.com. You'll be able to comment live while it's coming on around the side, and then I'm going to come out and have a live chat to talk about it and talk about a lot of things immediately afterwards. So don't miss it at bballbreakdown.com, and don't forget, it's not a channel, it's a conversation. You in?